We've been talking a bunch about Scientology on the podcast. It's kind of come up the last 3 times, right? Mm-hmm. And because of that, I watched the Leah Remini documentary, right? And I think we were kind of talking about it this weekend, right? But the funniest part about this documentary is Scientology is powerful. There's only 40,000 people in the religion. 7,000 of the people in Scientology work full time for Scientology, right?
Yeah. Can anybody be a Scientologist?
I think you just sign up, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they get you in, and I've said this before, but they get you in Tony Robbins style. If you watch their pamphlets, it's like, hey, are you trying to make more money? Are you trying to get your shit together? Are you a drug addict? We're gonna fix it all, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
It's very
good pitch.
The pitch is, a self-help book.
Yeah.
And then you watch this doc, right? The thing, I've never watched a expose documentary that is so riddled with like disclaimers. And the disclaimers are so funny because it kind of does make it almost like works, because so the whole deal is they're interviewing ex-Scientologists, right? And then they'll go, we're about to interview this guy, and it cuts to like 7-8 seconds, probably more like 17-18 seconds of like screens, and the screens go, this guy's a fucking clown. He tried to get back into Scientology, we didn't let him. One of them, it goes, he's rude and a psychopath, blah blah.
What do you mean he tried to get back in Scientology, we didn't let him? What perspective is? You
got banned for life, man. You don't want to get on that list. You're
But I'm saying, who's putting up the disclaimer?
Well, Scientology, they reached out to Scientology for comment, and they go,
gotcha. These are comments from the Church of Scientology.
But it's more than comments. It's like, if you want to get sued for everything you're fucking worth, you're going to put this up there, right?
Yeah, don't they have all that stuff where they don't know where David Miscavige's wife is? Isn't that like the whole thing where like she's
I thought it was the main guy's wife.
David
missing for a bit. David Miscavige is like the Pope.
Yeah, I thought that. No, L. Ron Hubbard, you mean?
No, yeah, I was saying his wife kind of went missing too.
They probably all go missing. They're all probably just like, yep, and you go, you're out.
Well, the funny part about
drop you in the top of a fucking volcano, bitch.
Well, David Miscavige is hilarious, right?
Yeah.
So they paint him as like the most evil guy, but the girl that was, they'll show someone and they go, this guy's a liar, don't believe a word he said, he's a fucking can of baloney, and then they cut to the guy being like, this David Miscavige guy's no good. But it's just so funny because the way that they have to do it, they just have to show you so many disclaimers because they're so afraid of these lawyers, right?
Yeah.
But when they cut to the guy, there's this, I think it was a guy talking about David Miscavige. No, it was a woman. And she goes, and that's when, I just watched so many things happen, and there was the lying and the punchings. She says the punchings because David Miscavige keeps kicking the shit out of people.
Oh, really?
So
he's a bit of an equalizer himself.
He's equalizing everybody.
Yeah, he's equalizing everybody.
So David Miscavige is the head pope, I guess.
Yeah.
But can you imagine? You heard like all the ex-bishops were like, yeah, the fucking pope kept fucking
punching people,
decking me.
So I had to fight the pope again. Kicked my ass.
So like 4 of the guys, their story was that like David Miscavige kicked the shit out of them. And it was one guy was like the audio visual guy, like he does things, and he said he came in late at night and he's yelling at him, and then just fucking David Miscavige just starts.
And I guess you can't fight back because he's like.
No, this guy said he was about to fight back, and that was.
But
one of the reasons.
Yeah, you're sure you are. You're like, this time is the abused wife. He goes, next time he puts his fucking hands on me, you're gonna fucking stab him. Yeah, I bet.
So David Miscavige is just running around kicking the shit out of people, right? And the other thing, to be honest, the doc didn't hit as hard as I thought it would. I thought it was going to be like really hit Scientology hard.
Yeah.
It was more just showing people that worked there. It would be like more like a nun being like, "Hey, the priest was a shitty to me," and then the press that was like trying to expose the Catholic Church, like they were trying to smear that guy.
Gotcha.
Which it was still all crazy, but it just like. You're like every other religion, you're like exposing like mass pedophile rings. This one, there's like punchings.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? And then they're kind of like, if you work there and you try to leave, they kind of make you not talk to your family. And it's all like pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's
it's all like culty.
Cults do
but
that.
just in comparison to the exposés I've seen, I was expecting to be a little more blown away.
Oh, okay.
I kind of left being like,
and you think that they kept a lot back just because of the suings potential? Like, was there stuff you think that or that's just like what the story they wanted to tell was?
I don't know. Their worst stories was
everybody's saying that like his
the
wife
families. It's tearing
was
the
the wife
families
disappearing
apart.
in it?
Well, they didn't really mention the wife disappearing.
Yeah.
I think they sort of grazed over something about his wife. She went to jail or something, and then Miscavige's wife hasn't come up. There's a second season though. I don't know.
That's so sick though.
Felt like they ran out of stuff to talk about.
Wrote just created Scientology like not that long ago.
It's nuts.
It's like pretty recent.
Do you know what else is nuts? Is the famous people that are in it, like the Tom Cruises of the world. Mm-hmm. they're living the life.
Yeah.
Like so they have their celebrity center. And basically what happens is Tom Cruise, guys like that, they give him, he's got everyone he wants. Like he's got like 4 Scientologists that are like full-time that are just Tom Cruise's personal people. If he wants a cleaner, Scientology sends him one. If anyone's messing...
Cleaner?
Like a maid. Like if...
Why can't he hire just like... he has to hire... Like he only hires... It's
my
like the
point
Mormons,
to you
like they hire
is he don't
within?
have to hire it.
Oh, it's free.
Yes, it's all like half of Scientology is like making sure Tom Cruise is happy.
Right.
So like when you kind of have these things where they're like, why would Will Smith be a Scientology? It's like, if you're the main guy, you're living the fucking dream, man.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
And then on top of that, you have this like, 40,000 people, multi-million-dollar organization that's got your back, whatever you do,
Yeah.
So it kind of is, if you're rich in Scientology, if you're like a famous actor, you're probably living the dream.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sick.
The only thing you do is go to conferences and fucking kiss babies and shake hands every now and then.
That's fine.
Yeah, like they're not.
That's probably
doing
a
none of
big
this stuff
sell
to Tom
for
Cruise.
Scientology too. Like if you kind of get to a certain level, you get to meet Tom Cruise.
Well, that's the reason why these guys have such a dream, because they're figureheads.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a pretty good deal for everybody.
Yeah, and the other thing, it almost like a little bit made me fucking annoyed with the media, because even though the media was like right about Scientology, it was just like there's these like weasels in the thing and they keep crying victim, but you're just like okay, yes, probably good that like Scientology got exposed for some of this stuff, and it sounds like shitty in terms of like cults and religions or whatever. Like I don't know how high it ranked for me in terms of like the level of expose. You know what I mean? However, the media guy on the other side, these guys kept being like, they would kind of say things like, and they were trying to discredit me, and it was like, well, they're trying to discredit you because you're trying to write like a tell-all about how their religion should be shut down.
Yeah, of course.
Like, it was just like journalists. It's like your whole deal is. It's like there's all YouTube channels that like their whole deal is like hit pieces or whatever, right? Like the same in comedy, right? Your whole deal is writing hit pieces about people and why they should lose their job or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. It was like the Taylor Lorenz's of the world, right? And then they kind of. But then like someone kind of like be like, oh, what about her? And they're digging into my past.
Yeah, of course.
And it was like, yeah, I mean,
well, they think they're infallible, not to use the religion term.
Yeah, but you go, and so do they.
Yeah.
It's like you don't like it and they don't like it. It was like, regardless of right or wrong, you're just like, I mean, people don't like having you fucking try to write articles.
What, do you think they're going to not defend themselves? Like,
yeah.
Ridiculous to think that those just...
So it kind of was that. They were just like, and they declared us enemies of the church, and it was like, and then it was like, okay, they were doing crazy stuff and blah, blah, but you're like, but you were though, right?
Yeah.
Like you're admitting that you were an enemy of the church.
And that declaring people enemies of the church, hasn't the Catholic Church been doing that for like ever?
Hey, exactly.
Yeah.
In terms of religious scandals, I left it being like, yeah, it seems kind of shitty. Like the thing seems like bullshit. It all seems like, stupid.
Yeah.
And it does, it seems like any corporation. Like the same probably if you, like it seemed like the stuff they do was like if you probably write an expose about fucking big oil, you probably get the same treatment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Like that's just what it seemed to me. I was like not saying it's good, but it didn't seem like uniquely crazy.
Sure.